All right, we are back. We are back. Dynamics of Love and Marriage, Cooley and Shay. What's up, baby?
What's up, love?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm cool. I'm cool.
Really?
So, what are we talking about today? What's our topic?
So, our topic for today is all about relationships. And so, specifically, I believe we have the title of Spotting the Top 10 Green Flags of a Healthy Relationship. So, instead of doing red flags, we said let's focus on the positive things and the things that we really should be investing our attention in and share what that looks like. And so, why don't, since we're doing top 10, you will do your top 5 and I'll do my top 5 of let's focus on the characteristics or the attributes
Yeah,
of each person.
whatever
Okay.
we think
Yeah, whatever we
is a
think
green flag.
is a green
Right.
flag when you're exploring certain prospects in a relationship. And because if you have the right person, then the relationship as a whole will be healthy.
Makes life a whole lot better.
Okay.
For sure.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so you set it off.
Okay. So I will share with you. I put all mine in my phone because Lord knows I'm a lady of many words and I'm trying to be as concise as I can, but still provide depth. So let's see how I can do this. All right. So my first topic that I believe is a green flag. So something that I see in a person that I feel like, okay, I really like this characteristic in them and I like where this is going. I think this would be good in a relationship. And I looked at this when I encountered you as well, is really a person's I would say consistent demonstration of providing a solid support system. So when you and I were just friends, so we met in 97 and then we didn't get married until 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Between those years, we were just friends. And some people that, of course, don't know us and may not know our stories, but those that do know that we were for real just friends. Like you were in Jersey, I was in Seattle. We did not see each other, so we talked on the phone. It wasn't no sex talk or any kind of like trying to get with each other. It was truly friendship.
Send the phone bill to God.
Yes, and then I moved to Texas to go to UTA. And then you also moved here. I mean, you moved to Atlanta and we were still just friends. And what that friendship looked like was, you gave me certain advice. I encouraged you along the way, etc. But I thought you, just in summation, the 3 years for the most part that we were just friends, I could see that you offered a solid foundation of support, not only to me, but your other friends. Right? Whether they were male friends, whether they were female friends, I saw you provide that consistent kind of support, really rooting for them, offering them encouragement. You were consistent with just advocating. Like even if I was down or, I know even one of our sister friend, Dana, she would reach out to you for advice as well. She would just, ask things. I would ask things. And you were very candid and transparent with us around different things and was like, girl, don't sell yourself short. You guys you were very much an advocate for us. And so it was like, man, that's pretty cool. Right? Because we're just friends. And to see that solid, and I say support system because a system doesn't only have one facet or factor. It has a myriad, right? You were a cheerleader. You were very supportive in our growth in different, in different ways. You were an active listener. You then were a wonderful sounding board, offering both compassion but course correction if we were tripping, right? Just that kind of thing. If we were doing something, you weren't trying to, there was no compare and competing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you weren't ever trying to one up us, that type of thing. And or if I see that in a person, and I would encourage all of you, if you see that in a man or a woman, that's a wonderful attribute. It's a wonderful attribute because some people don't know how to be a cheerleader, don't know how to encourage another person's growth. They instead plant seeds of doubt, and really kind of, I don't even know if they know that they're discouraging, but I just say seeds of doubt because that can come in different forms. But they don't really. Some know it and some don't know it. But when you see a person that's consistently doing it, not just for you, but for anybody in their circle, then that is a green flag, because that means to me that it's embedded in your character. You're not just trying to appease me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you're not trying to just, make an impression on me.
It wasn't just my representative. It was like
No, right, right.
who I actually
It was
was.
who you really were.
Yeah.
And not only just with me, I saw it with your like I said, your male friends. I saw it with your extended female friends. So I knew, and I was one of those female friends. You weren't trying to get at me, but you really gave that support system, like, yeah, I got you, that type of thing.
Mm.
And I'll sum up after this, because I remember when I moved to Texas and I was dating. Well, I thought I was trying to date in these Texas streets in 99. And I was like, man, I'm going on these dates. And I was like, man, it's been kind of rough. And you were like, yeah, you were like, girl, shouldn't you? Now, this was a little shaky. You were like, yeah, I think I told you about a couple of dates with this, especially this one guy. And you were like, Shay, you need to be focused on school. Don't be.
That's right.
Yeah, that's when you were trying to
Yeah, I was
kind of trying to come in, trying to come in. But other than
stirring
that,
the
you
pot.
were, even when I was here and I was trying to get acclimated, I had broken up with my boyfriend back home because, I just wanted to make sure that I was being, very forward with everything and not holding on to different things when everything in my life was moving forward. And so I even was able to share that with you. You were just very much available, but you weren't trying to make a move, if you will, but you were just being authentic. And I think I may have even told you one guy I was dating here. And this is an example of a red flag, the opposite of what you were. This guy that I was talking to, I just remember how he was moving, but I wasn't really sure if the things that he was doing was a red flag. They kind of seemed like counterfeit green flags, where he would offer what would seem like a compliment or something that was appealing, but then put a little question mark behind it. So, for example, the biggest one was we were dating, and I guess his parents were coming into town, and he was like, my parents are coming into town, and just depending on how this situation between me and you go over the next couple of weeks, I might introduce you to them, because you may have potential wife characteristics. I'm not really sure. Now, on one end, it was almost like he was like, "Oh, you're important enough to introduce you to my parents." But then on the other end, I was like, "This is a damn backhanded compliment." But I think because he was used to dating women that when you throw up marriage and
Cater to him.
yeah,
Yeah.
they would cater. Oh, you think
Like
I'm
the
a
carrot.
potential? Yeah, I'm a potential wife. My gosh! So I laughed at him. I laughed. And he was like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "Well, first of all, the fact that there's a question as to if I could be wife material is hilarious to me, because I already know I could be a good wife. But the question is, who told you I wanted to be a wife to you?" Which threw him off, because his game was, let me see. I know we had talked about marriage and stuff like that before, like, oh, did you ever see yourself getting married or having children? But he tried to use that against me in that moment, but I didn't recognize it right away. I think it was definitely something that, my conversations with you and, my my uncle and my brothers, just understanding how men think. I was like, I think he's trying to plant something in me, but I wasn't really sure what was happening.
You wasn't taking the
No,
bait.
I wasn't taking the bait. So anyhow, I would just say, like, there are also some what would appear to be green flags, but they're counterfeits. You got to really make sure that they're legit, and the legit piece is through consistency. That is my whole point. If you don't see them demonstrating that just in who they are outside of you, then I think then it may be a red flag. Just keep looking.
Okay. So consistency, just consistency.
Consistency in demonstrating the support system and
Support system.
encouragement.
Consistent support system,
Yep.
pretty much. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So speaking of being consistent, I would say emotional safety from my standpoint.
Mhm.
And that meaning, can I come to you? Can you be my confidant? Can you, whatever is a secret, or if I tell you something, you mentioned, like, using something throwing up against me, using it against me,
Mhm.
that type of thing. I think as men, we are raised a certain way. We have to be tough. I think when it comes to suicide, the rate of men is extremely high. And one of the things that they have in common is the men always feel like they're inadequate. They
Mhm.
can't do enough. They can't provide.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times men suffer in silence because, we have this standard that we always have to upkeep about ourselves,
Mhm.
don't tell, don't cry, don't show emotion. And so when it comes to these various things, we go through life with various emotions and then we carry that weight. If I meet somebody and I feel as though I can tell, I would like to tell you something, you can't throw it up against me. You can't use it against me. And because if you do, then a man will shut down because again, going back to how you were raised, you never say anything, and then you get into a serious relationship, and then your partner's like, "Why you don't tell me anything? Why
Mhm.
don't you talk
Mhm.
to me?"
Mhm.
Because when I do, you like, "Oh, how dare you say this? Or why would you say that?" All right, you may hear something you don't want to hear that may not be comfortable, but can you handle that? So to me, I think that's a great green flag. It's like, man, okay, she cool where I could talk to her. She won't, you know, brush me off if I tell her something that means something important to me. So that is a green flag for me.
Okay. And so just to ask you a question about that. So as when it comes to women receiving or hearing you all out as it relates to whatever you're sharing in the safe spot, if they have questions or concerns, right? What's the best way for them to to really talk to you about them so that it doesn't appear like they're bringing it up and they're violating the confidentiality or the safety expectation that's been laid out,
I would say
right?
make it more of a conversation, not necessarily an interrogation.
Uh-huh.
Like why you do this and why you go. You quiet. What you thinking about? Nothing. You can't just be not thinking about nothing. Guys do that, Understand that yes, we are different creatures.
Mhm.
A lot of things we compartmentalize
Yes.
differently. Sometimes it is just a blank space,
Uh,
it's a blank canvas and it's
while we
just
have
like,
like a whole we have
yes.
source of words
Yeah,
in that blank space and you guys have a blank canvas and we're like, that
absolutely.
makes no sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But you have to understand it. And the thing is, if you don't have any siblings, cousins of opposite sex, maybe maybe your father didn't talk about much, and maybe your mom didn't tell you much about their relationship or anything to that extent. You may not understand it, and you
Yes.
may find it confusing, and then you get frustrated over it, and
Mhm.
and then that's why you get with somebody and you clash because you're like, it's no way you can't be doing this. Or it's like, why not?
Right.
Oh, my other three boyfriends didn't do this. Well, I'm
I'm
not them,
I'm not them. Yeah,
so,
yeah,
don't compare me.
yeah.
So, yeah, that
So,
would be it.
okay, last question. So, do you think it's okay, and this is just to give us women some ideas. Do you think it's okay if let's say we've talked about something in a space that was safe where you felt like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about this and I wanted to come back and share something, right? Or bring the topic up again. Would it be best to say, hey, I know we spoke about this yesterday or 2 weeks ago or a month ago. I've been thinking about it. Can I ask you some questions or can we talk about this? Do you think that would put you on guard?
I think that goes case by case. It
Okay.
depends on the individual.
Okay.
Like you have to feel your person out to see how they respond to certain things.
Hmm.
If they know you a ask question type person, you like it's going to come up, and if they may not be there yet, they be like, oh my goodness, So I think it just depends
Yeah.
on the individual case.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm just asking that clearly. I have been married to him for 25 years, so I know what works for him. But I think that's really what I wanted to call out, which is definitely don't assume. And like you said, don't take your previous relationship and automatically place those expectations and
In that
experiences in
same
this.
box.
Yeah, because that could put you in the wrong situation. But ask, hey, if we share something in safety and what's the best way if I want to explore it and I have more questions about it or want to talk to you about it, what's the best way to bring it up so it doesn't seem like I'm throwing it in your face
Yeah.
and vice versa. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So my next one is one of the superior characteristics that I think are a green flag in any individual, and when it's demonstrated in a relationship, it is so beautiful, and it is kindness. I just love that kindness is so simple, but sometimes if you don't make it a priority and you don't say, hey, this is something that I value as a person, you will have a situation where you'll value and prioritize a lot of things that you see in a person or in a relationship, and you'll bypass kindness and you won't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think a green flag is when you see a person, this is pre even getting together, when you see that they can be kind to anybody, someone that doesn't owe them anything.
They can't do anything for them.
Yes, perfect. They can't do anything for them. Whether they're trying to just, have a platonic relationship or a friendship, or a stranger or their parents or children, or, whatever. If they can be kind, then that is something that's wonderful. If they can be kind under a precarious situation, that's even, that's even better. But kindness just in its simplest form, I think is so powerful and such a quality attribute, because kindness in an individual, when that's put into a relationship, it really is next level, right? For me, all of my green flags, I'll tell you up front, are what I desire to give to someone. And I do feel like it would be great to get in reciprocity,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I like to be kind to people, not only because I would like it back, because I know some people don't have the capacity, and I can see it in their action
Yeah.
because of whatever they're going through. But I like to be calm because I want that to be who I am. I want that to be the experience that you get from me.
From you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you want to
And I
receive it
want
as
a
well.
person that I think if you see a person that can demonstrate that, that's cool, because that means that they care about how you experience them. It's different from a people pleaser, though, you know?
Yeah.
And so kindness is my second item that I think is in my top five.
Okay. Okay. So next, I would say support for growth, meaning being open to experiences. If you get with someone and they have a dream, a goal, a aspiration that they're striving for, I'm not saying, hey, I want to be a rapper at 50. Not like that,
Right,
but
right.
I want to get my pilot's license, which
Uh-huh.
is something I want to do.
Yes.
Now that's extra because it's not like I want to be a pilot for a living,
Right.
but that's something I aspire to do. But
Mhm.
if let's just say, as a married man with children, we have a house, and I just want to change careers in the middle of all of this
Mhm.
chaos for us. Will you be open to that? Are you supportive? And it's one thing to say yes, but it's another thing to be like, all right, well, what's your plan? Let's sit down. Let's make a plan.
Yes.
Because if you help me devise a plan, then I'm like, oh man, she got my back.
Mhm. Mhm.
What a lot of guys like to throw around the word loyalty, but it's kind of vague what that definition is.
Mhm.
But for me, that is loyalty.
Yes.
It's like, all right, this what you want to do. Well, let's look at it.
Yes.
What's the short term goals? What's the long term goals?
Uh-huh.
What's your expectation? Are you planning on, flying the Air Force One tomorrow? Because
Right.
that's not going to happen.
Right, right.
So stuff like that
Right.
is something that I'm like, man, I got a real one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
so that would be a green flag for me.
All right. So somebody that's able to support your growth and explore your aspirations with you
Yeah, absolutely.
intentionally. Okay.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. All right. Hey, makes sense to me. And I've been trying to do my best, and I think you do great too. So,
Thank you.
all right. So my third is willingness to partner. So when I say willingness, maybe that doesn't sound as positive, but if you see that a person is willing or takes the initiative to partner, I think that's a green flag. I think in a relationship today, in a lot of relationships today, I should say, there is a disconnect on partnership. Oftentimes people want you to do something for them. But again, the reciprocity piece is missing, and the accountability piece is missing. So partnership to me comes with accountability. It comes with certain stewardship. It comes with ownership and things to do your part. And as you do your part, then of course your partner should do their part as well. But if you already see that a person has lacks the ability to take accountability. They don't ever want to do their part. They always want you to meet them where they are, right?
Mm.
But they don't ever want to come where you are. They don't want to meet in the middle. I won't necessarily say compromise, but it's almost like they don't know how to think beyond themselves and incorporate someone else. Then I can tell you that's definitely not a green flag. And so my green flag is if you can show me that you have the ability to partner and you consider other people and you take ownership for your part, then I think that that's what you need for a healthy relationship. Again, if it can be something very simple. It doesn't take much. It could be something that very surface, hey, you're going to do this and I'm going to do this. Or they may say, hey, can you do this? And I do this. And then I come and ask you, hey, okay, I did my part. And then they're like, there's all kind of excuses as to why they didn't do their part.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They'll ever, or somebody else's fault.
What had
right?
happened was,
What happened? Yeah, well, you didn't do this right. If I see that early on, that's definitely a red flag. It is not green. Right?
yeah.
And so if I downplay that, then to expect that it won't show up in my relationship with them on a long-term basis is on me because they've shown me that that's what they do more consistently. They don't like to partner. They don't like to show accountability. They like for me to do most of it. And so I'm not interested in finding myself in a relationship 5 years, 2 years, 2 months later saying, man, why do I always have to do this? Well, Shay, because you chose to.
Yeah.
Because you saw that they were not going to take accountability and they showed you that they weren't, but you kept saying, well, let me just
Anyway, yeah.
try a little bit. Like, don't drown, turn around. Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you feel as though they have other attributes and you're like, okay, these outweigh this, but then long term, it's like, this dude ain't changing.
Yeah. So what is it going to cost me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the piece that we sometimes forget is that when I am thinking about a potential person that I'm going to invest my time in, I'm not even talking about how long this relationship is going to go for at this point, but what is it going to cost me? Or more positively, what am I willing to invest to see what the return is going to be? And it's not necessarily return for me specifically, but return for the possibility of us. And hey, I'm trying to bank on us, but if we don't last past 6 months, well, hell, I appreciated this. It was worth the investment and I had a good time. But at least I made the assessment early and I was like, I'm down for this. Then I can't hold anybody accountable but myself for the fact that I chose to invest in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let me see. For me, I would say the ability to tough it out.
Perseverance type.
Persevere.
Yeah.
For growth, for repair.
Mhm.
If there's an issue in the relationship, you're not above, well, it's not me, it's you. It's like, what do we have to do
Mhm.
to make this work? I think that's a major thing. It's like, you look at characteristics that, like you said earlier, like being kind, that's something that you do. So that's
Mhm.
something that you look for. But when you like, hey, I'm sorry, whether it was me, whether it's you, and it's like, man, it's like, I found a woman that apologizes. That's crazy, So when when you've like, let's make this happen. I want this relationship
Yeah.
to continue. And so when you find that, it's like, okay, yeah, this is where I
Yes.
belong.
Yeah, that's definitely a green flag because I think to your point, like we didn't get to 25 years off of just hoping that things will work out like it's supposed to work out.
Yeah, we put in the
And part
blood,
of
sweat,
that
and
work,
tears.
yeah, is perseverance. Like some of the times, like I know people talk about who's 60, 40, 40, 60, what I don't know, all these different percentages. But I also have heard people say, which I believe is true also, which is sometimes it depends on what season your relationship is in, what season the individual is in. Sometimes, you may have had to give 90%. I was like, I only got about 10. About 10.
I'll put you on my back, girl. Come
Yeah.
on, let's do
And
this.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's that perseverance. Like I'm a walk this out for us.
Yeah.
Right. And same thing with the woman. I believe that that's where we show our strength as well, because I think women are resilient and we can carry a lot. Now, I think that we carry a lot with a lot of foolishness sometimes, and men as well sometimes, but I don't feel like your strength was supposed to be used for the foolishness. It was supposed to be used for moments where you already know 1,000%. If you only had 10 or 5% in you, I'm coming through with the extra percent. I got you,
Yeah.
Cooley. I can't.
You carry the weight, the
I'm
difference.
gonna put you in this wagon
Mhm.
I bought from Costco.
Pick up your feet. Pick up your feet so you don't drag them on the
Yeah, just
ground.
sit on it this
Yeah.
thing, but I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you have to be able to push past the discomfort, push past the things that are tough, like you said, push past grief, push past, aging. You got so much stuff to push past, kids and parents and relationships, work. You got so many different things, and so to not be able to persevere and press forward and not have the grit and the fortitude to do that is not going to serve any relationship well. So if a person doesn't even have those elements, then you do have to question whether or not, because they're essential to a relationship, how those characteristics missing may damage your relationship.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Okie dokie. So I have two more, I believe. Do you have two more too, babe?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember. And I've been thugging it out without my glasses. I've been like, ooh, it's looking real fuzzy again. Okay, well look, I could, because I was looking
Oh,
before.
come on now, put them on.
I know. But they're not as comfortable when I have on my hat.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I can't see. It's
Well,
like
there we go.
HDTV.
That's
All
what's
right, because
important.
other than that, I'll be way back here, like with it. All right, this one is my favorite. Well, all of these five are my favorite, but I believe a green flag is if a person's able to be expressive. Okay, so what I mean by that is I understand that there's different personalities types, right? You have introverts who typically think to speak, so they take time to process.
Amen.
You have extroverts who speak to think. They tend to speak out loud and then they think about what they what they said, right? I'm not talking about that type of expressiveness. I'm not talking about, the direct personalities and, analytical, expressive. I'm really talking about a person being confident and assured enough to express their themselves, period. If I have a green flag, let me stick on the positive side. If you're able to tell me, hey, Shay, this is what I want, this is what I desire in a woman, here are some of the things I struggle with, here are some of the things I'm aspiring to be, here are some things that I'm strong in, like that is expressing yourself to me. If I have to stay on the phone with you or have to be on a date with someone or even in a marriage where I have to prompt, like this is Chat GPT, and I have to probe 1,000%, like you got to wear me the hell out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tokens
Yeah.
being spent. Okay. Like, then I'm like, why don't you just share, express? Like, why do I have to like try to go in and read your mind? Like, that is ridiculous. I believe men sometimes feel like that about women as well. But I think that if I am looking for someone, a partner, a prospect, or just a friend, I don't know where this is going. I'm gonna invest my time there first. A person that's able to articulate and express themselves in a mature kind of way.
So in
Right?
other words, you don't want anybody that's nonchalant.
Don't be nonchalant. You better choose the left or the right. And even if it's wrong or whatever, or if you even choose both and tell me why, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I'm good. Oh, yeah. If I ask you your perspective or opinion on something, you're like, yeah, it's just whatever. Like, I'll go either way. Like, to me, I'm looking like, do you not have an opinion?
Yeah.
Do you not have
Yeah.
anything solid?
Yeah.
Even if, like I said, even if you're on the fence, articulate what it is that's putting you in that space. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to the left or to the right for no reason. You probably see value in both. That's cool. Just let me know. I just want to know what's in your head. I want to know what you're thinking. That type of thing. I think in a relationship, if you don't have a person that desires to know what you're thinking and what's on your heart, even if it's not many words, right? Or even if it's a lot of words, you have to question investment, right? I think someone should always be invested or should always want to know, hey, what's on your mind? What you got on your heart? How do I create a space for you to share that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there something that I can do differently that would make you feel more comfortable in doing that? Those are the things that I should be asking and I should be sharing with you as well. Oh, well, I kind of am a little reserved, but here's how it would help me express myself a little bit more when I'm talking to you or when we're together. It's not you, it's my job, but still, I'm still articulating that it's not you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in prompting and probing. Like I do that in my job too much with, you know, what I'm doing. And
You don't have to come home
no,
and deal with
I
that too.
have to create a prompt to talk to my husband or my no, or no, absolutely not. I just do not have time for
Yeah.
it. No.
Hey, I can respect that. So number 4 for
Mhm.
me would be healthy boundaries, like having your own life,
Yes.
and, not that you're not interested in mine, but you're like, hey, I'm, on this day I'm doing this. Like, even with us, 25 years in, but I'll still ask you, I'm like, hey, what you doing Saturday?
Yeah.
Knowing you're not doing anything, but still,
You have stuff to do.
you ain't got it. I mean, you do, but I always want to, I respect
Yeah,
the
you do.
boundary
You do.
of asking you, hey,
Yes.
you're not doing anything. Hey, you wanna go out?
Mhm.
You want a date? And so, but I love when you do have things,
Yes.
when you're like, oh, I got to do this on Sunday and I'm doing this and I'm like,
Yes.
all right, so you a busy
Yes.
woman,
I booked in business.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you ain't always in my business,
I sure am not. Look, hell, I can't remember my own business in this perimenopause situation.
Yeah, that's something totally different. That's what we say that for another podcast special. No, but I think having your own is like sexy. It's
Yes.
like, whether you a businesswoman, you doing something down at a shelter or whatever, it makes me curious to peep into your life to see what it is. Like, how did it get to that point? Why are you so involved in whatever these things are?
Mhm.
And it's just like, wow, it's another facet of yourself
Mhm.
that I'm like, man, this is dope. She doing her own thing.
Yes.
So that's a major like attraction for me.
Yeah, I agree. I love that one. That's a great one, Boo, because it allows you to get exposure in a space that you may not have been interested
Yeah,
in.
absolutely.
Yes. That is a
Absolutely.
green flag.
Yeah.
I like that green flag.
Yeah.
I would add that as one of my bonus honorable mentions there.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Okay. My last one is hold on. The later it gets in the day, the more my eyes
The
become
sleepier,
real
yeah.
suspect. Okay. My final fifth green flag is emotional regulation under stress. And so, what that looks like to me is if you see a person that's able to like deal with something that's stressful, a situation that is hard or a challenging situation, and they're able to emotionally regulate themselves or they're able to leverage the resources but they initiate, I feel like that's a green flag. So let's say there's a situation that is again challenging and some people would like go off and go, or some people would shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So go off, you have to like, see how you can bring them back and really, ration with them. While the other people that shut down, you have to again pull things out of them because they're kind of processing their emotions, but they never get to a place where they're able to regulate and engage with you in a way that is fruitful, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you find a person that is able to deal with a challenging situation, and I'm not trying to say like you need to hide your feelings or you need to, pretend or put up a facade. I believe that if a person is even able to say, hey, this is a tough situation, it's not easy for me and I'm really struggling, but I need some time to kind of like sort through.
Together.
Yeah, gather myself or I'll be talking to a counselor or I have a sounding board that I'm working with to really kind of sort through this. I think those are things to respect, right?
Yeah.
And even the resources that they use to actually sort through and regulate emotions, I think those are things that you should be attentive of, because that will tell you how they will deal with situations when you're going through them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's something that I believe that you were able to share with me early on. And as friends, we were able to kind of work through some things, work through some things together just to, figure out how to process the emotions in a way that I engaged you and you engaged me. And it wasn't a secret. I think the piece that was important was coming together and being transparent with what was happening and then sharing, here's what I'm doing to work on it. And here's how you can support me, that type of thing. But emotional regulation, I think, is important. And so if a person's able to do that effectively, or if they're, again, leveraging resources to learn, that's even good because it tells you that they're putting tools in their toolkit that you'll need for relationships or you'll need to your relationship. You may even need to pour them into your children if you decide to have children. You may need to even share them with your parents, you know,
Yeah.
all of that. So if a person has that, I think that's a green flag and something that you should say, all right, so this is worth exploring because it's a great characteristic.
Yes. They're pretty much even tone temperament, no matter what the situation is, because they're not taking it out on you. And you're like, okay, I see the potential
Yes.
and I can move forward with this. Yeah.
And even if they, no one's perfect. If they have a situation where, it seems like they got a little heated with you because they felt like, things were stressful. First of all, how frequent is that heat and how hot was it when they gave it to you? And then what's the consistency of it, right? Because sometimes a person can act like they can regulate their emotions and then maybe they'll fly off the handle and they'll say sorry about that and they'll have all the right words to say later. But if you see a pattern of that, red flag, don't drown, turn around.
You in danger, girl.
You in danger, girl, right? Come on, ghost, whoopee.
Yeah, so definitely that's a good green flag to
Yes.
have. And for me, I would say the last one is the spontaneous, adventurous person
Yeah.
type.
Yeah.
Like, again, exposing you to things that you may not have been interested or, maybe you just didn't have time to do. I always think about when you came to visit me in Atlanta
Yeah.
and you wanted to go to the museum and we were like, I forget like where I had to park, but we had to walk pretty much to get there. And
It was a slanted hill.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you raced me. You initiated it in heels. You had
Yeah.
high heel boots on.
Well, I
And
don't even know what
I'm
possessed.
thinking like Love Jones all the way. I'm like, man, this girl is so, I was like, man, this girl is nice. I like her, And so I thought it was so cool because you would like, man, all right, what's next? Where we going?
Yes.
It didn't matter if it could have been an expensive restaurant. It could have been something simple, but in each situation, you were engaging, you were enjoying the moment.
Mm.
And that's what I was like, yeah, I like this one right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, that would be it for sure.
All right. All right. Well, listen, let's keep the spontaneity going. I always got my little singing and my song in
Oh my
it.
goodness. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. She always got a song for something, boy.
I do.
It's never a dull moment
There is
around
not.
these parts.
There is not.
For
There is
sure. For
not.
sure.
But I think our biggest thing with this top 10 was really just to share. Oftentimes people do the red flags all the time, which be cautious of these things, that type of thing. There are a lot of those out there. And obviously people also share information around things that you should be looking for. But we just wanted to kind of call out at least our top 5 that we looked for and we found, I believe, in each other and can attest to the fact that because we saw those things in each other, they actually did our relationship well over this time. Our friendship, our co-parent partnership, our relationship with each other romantically, as supporters and advocates for each other, cheerleaders, etc. But that's not because they were birthed afterwards. They actually were a part of us to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think they just enhanced
And it
as
was
we
nurtured.
Yeah. Yes.
As we went along. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So
As we grew.
yes.
So
Yeah. So so did you want to close us out or you want me
that's
to?
it. That's it. So yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you? Well, tell us if we missed any green flags. If you guys have green flags of things that people should be attentive to, be mindful of. Let us know. Mindful of. I'm sorry. Let us know so that we can maybe talk about this again and a different kind of structure. So, all right. Well,
until next time, guys.
until next time. Talk to y'all later.